Hello. So I read Lies My Teacher Told Me, Everything Your American History Textbook Got Wrong by James W. Lowen. He taught at Tougaloo College in Mississippi. He's taught about racism at the University of Vermont. He is a professor of sociology at the Catholic University of America in Washington, D.C. He's also written books like Mississippi, Conflict and Change, which won the Lillian Smith Award for the Best Southern Nonfiction in 1975. He's also written Sundown Towns, A Hidden Dimension of American Racism, and he has a PhD in sociology from Harvard University. The book itself attempts to show where history has gone wrong in teaching, especially on the high school level. It shows how those high school textbooks often are considered bland. It shows how the textbooks avoid controversy and how they avoid to show how one action in history can relate to another. It also shows how those textbooks in high school present people who have murdered others and owned slaves as heroes without talking about their bad background. And lastly, it talks about areas such as Columbus, Vietnam, the slave trade, and Reconstruction, and shows how the history that is taught is often not completely the truth. One of the examples of how history was taught wrong is how history portrays Columbus. He was actually an explorer who killed many Indians and did more harm than he did good. My teacher told me it is a very reliable book. It has 56 pages of footnote explanations in the back along with an index. It has sources such as polls from certain time periods, like Vietnam, and documents such as Columbus's journal, and quotes from Bartolomé de las Casas. The author itself is credible because he has taught at 3 different colleges that are both black and white. He has spent 2 years studying the 12 high school textbooks that he used at the Smithsonian Institute. And during the book, he makes a very big effort to explain and back up almost everything that he says. Overall, the book is reliable because the author is credible and scholarly about his writings and research, which he makes evident through his footnotes. The history is covered accurately because both sides are shown, either through polls or journals or government documents from the time period. I liked how he always had ways to support his ideas and used his own experiences and teachings. In some ways, though, he was also biased in political discussions on poor and government advancement, and often used the phrase Reagan-Bush years as a symbol of no progress. He also did not always give solutions to how to change the education system, but rather just gave problems on what they caused. And lastly, the book dragged on at times and became difficult to read because of all the facts that surrounded certain areas, such as around the Vietnam chapter.